did a few things that I had and it became a full-blown hatred. Hello beautiful, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Mide. Today is story time, okay? I'm going to be giving you like two versions of an incident that happened way back in my life, and believe me, this is not a make-believe, it is not made up, this is real. It happened to me. This relationship that was kind of trusted upon me, and I accepted it out of the goodness of my heart. Okay, I came across a roommate of mine around the area where I was staying back in school, and she told me she wanted a friend of ours to stay with me because the exam was around the corner and she stayed far away from campus. At first I was reluctant, not because I did not want to help her, but because the room I was staying back then was full to the brim. I'm talking about 6 bunks in a room and 11 occupants. I was the only one that was without bunk mates, and I felt I liked it like that. But you know, the situation presented to me, I could not turn it down, and I felt okay, it is just for the period when the exam will take place, and after that she will go back to her place. So I took her in, though this friend of mine could have taken her in, but she was staying with her boyfriend, and you know, whether your female friend is ugly or beautiful or otherwise, it is not advisable for you to take your friend into, you know, such house where you're staying with your boyfriend. It is not advisable. Okay, I understood what she was trying to tell me, and I felt okay, no problem, and then I took her in. Oh boy, did I make mistake. Yeah, it was one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my life, because it was full of, you know, this roller coaster of emotion and, you know, all sorts. I don't even know what to label it as, but it wasn't a pleasant experience at all. When I reflected back on the whole occurrence, what happened, how the whole thing started, and you know, became something unpleasant, the only thing I could think of, you know, from the beginning was, believe me, it was the difference between our hair. In life, you never can tell what people will have against you, you know, whether it is your fault or otherwise. People that just hate on you will have one thing or the other, like a reason for them to do that. Okay, I have full kinky texture hair, and when I say full, my hair is like, you can see my hair is like close to my forehead, and at the back is that way. But I never saw my hair to be of anything special or something that anybody could, you know, envy. Along my journey in life, I have come across people that had long hair, full long hair, all right, people that have beautiful hair that I even admired, but I never thought mine was something that could be envied or admired by another person. So probably the reason could be that she had very thin and sparse hair on her head, but I never saw it to be something bad on her, more because she was always having wig or having one style or the other on her head. The only time that you'll be able to see her hair is when she wants to add relaxer to it, but I didn't see it as anything that could use against her or anything terrible or horrible or whatsoever. The very first time that I will notice her reaction towards my hair was, you know, there was this particular period that people in Lagos, I don't know if you live in Lagos, there was a time people were going to Cotonou to do tiny braid, you know, very tiny, that it is until you get close to the braid that you will know it is actually braid. It was that tiny. So back then in school, there was a place that we could go to, a couple of places that we could go to braid our hair, our tiny hair. So I did that. I was having that tiny braid on back then. The people that even did my hair was like complaining after, you know, paying my charges. I had to still buy the people that braided it snacks and drink and all, just to lessen the complaint and all sorts that was going on over my head then. So when I got to the campus and she saw my hair, aside from what she said, what really pissed me off was a gesture. Okay, she saw my hair, and instead of her to just voice her opinion as to this hair is fine or this hair fits you or whatsoever, just like what I've been hearing before I got to the campus, she just used her hand, touch my hair and push it backward. See your hair. Like, that was the way she said it, and the gesture just didn't go down well with me. But of course I struggled it off. I didn't read too much meaning into it, but I felt it within me. I didn't like it, but I did not make a big deal out of it. And of course, the way the brain works is such that there are some things that happens in your life that it will just be storing it for you. It is one occasion or one incident that will bring it all up, that will make you to sum everything up and conclude that, oh, this is what is happening. So that aside, fast forward to a couple of years later, then we had gotten to, like, I think 400 level. My course was like 5-year course, but believe me, Nigerian university spent like 6 to 7 years in school before we were through. So it was like a year to our final year or something like that. So there was this thing that I used to do, like side hustle that I used to do back then in school, because of course I need extra money. So I took up a modeling job, though something like ushering. Once in a while I'll go for such thing. So there was this auditioning that came up all the way from school. We had to come down to Lagos for that auditioning. So there was something that happened, probably because of the type of dress that we were supposed to be wearing for that particular ushering job. So we were told to, like, show our legs. So then I love wearing jeans. I was wearing jeans, of course, so I had to, like, roll up my jeans above my nail. Those that wore gown raised it up to their nail level and all that. So I don't know how this incident got back to school, how people got to hear it, but of course that when people are passing on information, they kind of add or deduct from the story just to make it to be more interesting to people. So the whole thing, rumors started going that we were stripped naked. Probably it wasn't even auditioning we went for, that we were all like just lying about the whole thing. So this, my friend came around, and instead of asking or trying to confirm or let me know that this particular story was going on around and my name came up, she came at me and she was accusing me that, oh, you guys went to Lagos to do prostitution and all that. I was so shocked because I was with a guy, and the guy was, I think, he was the same faculty with us, but not at the same level. So we were gisting, and I was just shocked. I looked at her and I got to know, I didn't understand what she was saying at first. Then later I got to, like, know what she was saying. I felt, oh, okay. So I kind of ignored her and I continued to talk with the person I was with. Then my friend was like, what was that? I said, well, I don't know, something must have been going on, and from what she said, this is what I deducted, and I felt that I don't owe her any explanation. So that was why I didn't answer her. That guy was like, wow, that was nice. I said, well, she was supposed to be my friend, but I don't know why she acted like that. So then another thing I noticed about her was that whenever we're having arguments or like a discussion, heated discussion, it usually results to something violent, unrestrained word thrown here and there. And I used to be shocked. Okay, the very first time it happened, I was like, wow. Occasionally something like that will happen. The home where I grew up, it wasn't a perfect home, quite alright, but where I came from, we did not use bad word for one another. Things like, are you mad? Are you crazy? No matter how angry or how hot the fight may be, if at the end of the day our parents got to know, that is one of the things that we make them to beat to beat us. When I started having friends and I started noticing that some people, find it very easy and they didn't see anything wrong in calling themselves names, ridiculous name, I was taken aback. All right, if I tell you that this girl's own was worse than that, it got to a point that I started thinking like, this girl does not like me, and probably she's with me because of one or two things that she's gaining from me, or maybe she had no choice. Okay, but okay, like life goes on. Most of the time we'll find ourselves separate. We're in the same class, we're having the same course, we're always in the same class. After the time that I took her in, throughout that particular section, she was always coming around when exam is around the corner, but afterwards she goes our separate way. On and off like that was our relationship. When we finished in school, we went to different states to serve, and lo and behold, after service, and we were back in Lagos. She wasn't living in Lagos. She used to come to Lagos then. We've talked on phones prior to that time. So she said where she was close to where I was staying. So she came around with a newspaper and showed me an job advert that we should both apply to. So we applied. I don't know what was happening, and we got that job. We got employed in the same company. The criteria for confirmation in that company was that we have to have a particular number of accounts before we can now be placed on a salary scale. I had gotten quite a number of accounts that could place me to like 60 something thousand salary scale, and she was barely 45,000. Minimum salary then was, I think, 30,000 or thereabout. So I heard her complaining, and then she told me that, oh, what's she going to do, that she had not even gotten up to like 30,000, not stock of 45,000. So what I did then was to give her like a couple of accounts so that she could be qualified. So eventually she got qualified, and we started working together. You know what they call karma? Karma deals with me in such a way that it's as if God is using it to like straighten me out. If somebody comes to me for something and I have the thing, like it's something that I could give freely, and I denied that person, believe me, it will happen to me that shortly after that I will need something from that same person that I will need to go to, and I'll feel reluctant because I knew that I had denied that person something that he or she needed. So most of the time, except I don't have that thing, that is when I will not give you. When we started working in that company, where my house, where we stayed, was far from the company, but she came down all the way from IB, and she was staying with her cousin within the area where the company was located. So it was just within walking distance. So in a bid for me to save some change from my salary, I felt, okay, let me stay with her. I will just be going home during the weekend. So I found myself staying with her around that period. Being the kind of person she is and the kind of relationship we've had way back, the whole thing started all over again. Topsy-turvy, roller coaster kind of attitude and behavior. This time around, when I couldn't take it anymore, I had to leave the place. I left her place, and I felt, wow, there's one thing in life. If life keeps throwing bad opportunity, bad situation, it is best that you don't take it or you walk away. Because if you take it or you stay put, life is going to keep throwing such things into your way, at you, and it will be like, oh, what is happening to me? Why me? You have to know what you want in life, and you have to work towards what you want, so that when what you don't want presents itself, you don't take it. Okay. And then there was another thing that happened that I should have taken note of, that should have made me to let go of her for a while, but I didn't really think much about it. When she came to meet me after we finished service in Lagos, I was staying with the person I was supposed to marry then, and when this guy saw her, he told me that, oh, that he didn't like my friend. Me, I was like, what is wrong with this one? Because honestly, what I thought about them was because he was always picky. He's somehow snobbish kind of person. So I thought that was what was going on then. I didn't think of probably he had seen something, one or two things about her. So I didn't take it serious. For like a few years that we worked in that company, the company, kind of folded up and we had to go our separate ways. I think I stayed at home for like a year or thereabout before I could get another job. And during that period, she was on her own too, and we hardly called. But there was this fateful day that she called me and told me, oh, hi, how are you? And we greeted, and she was like, oh, I saw your ex. Okay, why are you telling me? And she was like, no, that she I think she was doing CPIM or CPM, what all this I think, what do you call this, human resources course. I've forgotten the name, whether CIPM or I've forgotten what it is called. So she was going for the lecture and she saw that guy there. Of course, that one ignored her. That one pretended that he didn't see her. So she wanted to, she was calling me, like, let me know, oh, that he did something that pissed her off. And you shouldn't have greeted him. You don't expect him to greet you because we were no more together. All right. And it was more or less like, he didn't know you. So she was telling me how she almost got employed with MTN, that she had gotten to the last stage, that there was something in her CV that she had forgotten about, and they asked her, so she lost the job and all. And me, I was feeling like, oh, I don't think she would have told me anything about it if that did not happen. Okay, so I felt, oh, that's bad. You get another job and all that. So after that, for a couple of months, we didn't talk again. Then I now got a job of my own, and it was like the second month into that job that she called me again, and she was like, where are you? Like the environment, and I felt, oh, it's a new place that I work, and her tone just changed. It was like I had committed an offense, like a sin. I felt like me, I didn't tell her. She just started raking. Like me, I didn't tell her. If not that she called me, she wouldn't have known that I've started working somewhere. This, and that. I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to be giving you updates on what was going on in my life. I did not see any reason for her to be that angry. So she was angry and she became nasty, just like the way she used to do back then. That she would start throwing words here and there, and something just snapped within me that, oh my God, why am I still with this girl? Why am I still talking with this girl? So I sent a message to her and I told her that I do not owe you any explanation, and I see no reason why you should be querying me and be angry at me not telling you, and that it's not your business. Okay. And then she sent me her own message and said all sorts of things, called me names, and I just deleted all the messages, deleted her number, blocked her. So there was no means for her to contact me again. Even on all the social media, I blocked her. The kind of negative energy that was always coming from her was just way too much, and I was just being considerate, thinking that probably it had a lot to do with me. But believe me sincerely, it was all her. She was the one having issues with me. That is how you avoid jealousy coming at you. Okay, is either you walk away or you cut it off completely. All right, it took me a long time before I could do that, but believe me, it is the best decision ever. So my second job was really good. It paid well. I got married, I had my first child, and I got a ride for myself. Then shortly after that, I met this other girl. At that time, things were not going quite well with her, and you know, the kind of people that come to you and they tell you one or two stories. From the story you get to know that, oh, this person needs help, and you know, if I have whatever I have, I will try as much as possible to help, both financially, morally, and otherwise, because I know it is not easy at all. She was married and she was going through a lot, so I tried as much as possible to be there for her. So after a while, things, you know, changed for her. She had a turnaround and she started doing well. But unfortunately, I lost my job. This time around, like, the first thing that happens to the second company. They folded up. You know, it was the ownership of the company was, you know, transferred to another person, and they had to let everybody go from that place. So I didn't have a job anymore. Then I started seeing a new personality in this person, a new person. Her attitude started to change. She was okay for a short while. Okay, she's the type of person that for every penny she drops for you, she will take back double in any way or any form. All right, I know that I am not someone like that, and there was no way I was going to wait around and take such attitude from someone. No way. So I started getting irritated with the whole thing, and another thing I realized was that anytime that she's around, I will start to have this strange feelings of, you know, either I'm angry or I'm unhappy or depressed. You know, I'll just start having these negative feelings, you know. So I didn't know what was causing it. I didn't know where it was coming from. But one thing that I was sure of then was that the feelings remain till she leaves. Okay, so I started taking journal, and I was able to analyze my feelings, so I knew what was causing it. The relationship was not, you know, healthy anymore, and more of it was coming from me. Okay, there were things that she was doing that we both had planned that, you know, we were going to do later, and she started doing it, executing it, and I started feeling like left behind. I started feeling angry. I started feeling jealous of the whole thing, and I didn't like the feeling. I didn't want the feeling to continue. And believe me, I wasn't exaggerating when I say that her attitude changed, and she wasn't the person that I started with. There was a particular time that she gave me a weave-on. The weave-on was actually gifted her, and then she gave me, like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't something she wanted, or I don't know. The weave-on was kind of short. I don't know what they call it. It was not human, totally human. It was not like complete synthetic hair, in between, sort of. So I had the weave-on with me for quite a while. I didn't use it. I didn't know what to do with it. Okay, so I just had it with me. It was there. And then this girl later came around, and she told me that I should give her back the weave-on, that she came around to her mom's place and she forgot to come with her wig, and so that she was going to borrow the weave-on she gave me, that she would give me back and all. Because I didn't use it, it was just where I dropped it, so I brought it out and gave it to her. And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. I thought of it shortly, just for a short while, but it wasn't something that bothered me for so long, more because I had no use for it. Okay, and that wasn't the only thing that was happening afterward. It continued like that, and believe me, I was happy for her because I knew where she was coming from. All right, I'd been there and I moved past. So I felt it was our time. Okay, I just was not okay with my own situation at that time, and she wasn't helping matter. She wasn't helping matter, being the kind of person that she has changed to. There were other things too that if I asked for anything, especially things I knew that she could give. This happened like maybe 1 or 2 times that I asked for a particular thing and she did not. She did not respond at that time, and like I just took a step back and I started thinking about how I was going to, continue to live my life, navigate the whole situation, and also I started making weave on myself. I did the braided wig. I'll buy weave on and I made wig myself. But I am just not the kind of person that like to use wig. Okay, so wig is not a big deal to me. Then I realized that I'm better on my own. Okay, there are some people that you have around you that you are not gaining anything from them. Okay, instead they are bringing out the worst in you. All right, they are making you to feel some terrible emotion that it is best at this time for you to walk away. All right, just try to separate yourself from such person and such situation and try to rediscover yourself so that you will know what to do with your own life. So the moral of the story is that you watch out for signs of jealousy from friends and don't stick around for too long. Make your decision and move on. And if the jealousy is coming from you, girl, you're human. You're not perfect and nobody is. Don't allow it to fester. Separate yourself from such person or the situation and try to be on your own. All right, try to create something good for yourself. Become the better version of you. Become who you want to become on your own without this feeling, because everybody has their moments. Okay, jealousy is not healthy, it is evil, and may the Lord continue to protect us from evil around us all the days of our lives in the name of Jesus. So guys, thank you for tuning in once again. Don't forget to like this video. If you love the video, subscribe, and stay blessed, stay beautiful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.